Hello, my name is Natasha Reichle, and I'm the Associate Curator of Southeast Asian Art at the Asian Art Museum. Today I'll share an artifact on Santigo Bose's Native Song. Native Song is a mixed media artwork, which we had on display in the museum several years ago during our exhibition of Philippine art. I'm sorry that you have to see it today on your small screens, because part of its power is its monumentality. This photograph, taken in storage when we were figuring out how to hang it, gives a better sense of its size. Also, from the raking angle, you can see that this is not one large photograph, but is composed of many printed sheets that have been collaged together and then painted on. The artist was born in the Philippines in 1949. He studied at the School of Fine Arts at the University of the Philippines, and then moved to New York and studied at the printmaking workshop, at the time the oldest art center dedicated to print in the country. He spent time in California and other places around the world before returning to the Philippines in 1986, where he founded an art guild in Baguio, in the highlands of the northern island, Luzon. He was a prolific artist, and his works during the 90s turned more and more toward the Philippines and its colonial history. In these works, he often incorporated colonial-era photography, but also painting and found objects. The history which he drew upon was a long one. The Philippines had 425 years of foreign occupation. Magellan first arrived in 1521, and the Spanish stayed with one interruption until the end of the 19th century. In the late 1890s, Filipinos organized a secret revolutionary group known as the Katipunan, and in 1896 began fighting the Spanish for independence. 2 years later, the United States declared war against Spain and began fighting in Cuba. The Filipino forces believed that they would receive help in their fight for independence from the United States, but instead the U.S. made a secret agreement to pay Spain $20 million, staged a fake military battle against them, and took control of the Philippines themselves. The Filipino soldiers now had to fight a new occupier. During the ensuing 3-year war, some scholars estimate 500,000 to 1 million Filipinos died through warfare, starvation, and illness. Magazines reported the atrocities of the war. Here you see waterboarding of Filipino prisoners, and here's a drawing depicting the order of one general to kill everyone over the age of 10. The Philippine American War is a war that has deep roots in San Francisco. The Presidio was the U.S. staging point, and throughout the city today, there are numerous monuments to the war. Returning to Santigo Bose's work, I wanted to figure out who these central figures were. After looking through dozens of photos, I finally found the one he had based his artwork on, but there was no information to accompany it, besides a title in Spanish that suggests the photo was perhaps taken by the Spanish. There's something somewhat posed about the image. 2 soldiers stand in a field holding a rifle with a bayonet. These were common weapons at the turn of the century. The type of uniform they wear indicate it may have been early in the fight for independence. The lack of any insignia suggests that they were not officers. One man has a bolo or knife visible at his waistband. A similar knife and hand is painted on top of the image, as well as hard-to-decipher words and combinations of letters. The sun symbol above the soldiers' heads was commonly used by the revolutionaries. You can see it here on both a uniform button and a flag, but the meaning of the letters on the cross are more difficult to understand. Much of the writing on the painting is cryptic. Just a few words can be made out, like Santiago, the St. James, the artist's namesake, but also the name of the fort where political prisoners were kept. It's possible that some of these combinations of letters refer to those found on anting-anting, Filipino amulets that are used for protection and were used by the heroes of the fight for independence. But exploring this connection is still a work in progress, as is looking into the images that line the borders of this artwork. They appear to be the covers of music scores from the years of American occupation, objects that tie back into the title of the piece, Native Song, as well as its counterpart, Native Son. Spending the last few days looking closely at this painting has made me wonder, am I reading it right? Do I have the right tools to understand it? Santiago Bose's art was often deliberately difficult, intentionally layered and coded. He described himself as a bandit artist whose trail is as elusive as a wisp of starlight in the empty realms of space. I'm looking forward to continuing to follow that trail in the days to come. Thank you for watching this artifact from the Asian Art Museum.